who is going to have the advantage. Now, we'll get into our driver predictions in a bit, but the focus, quite understandably, is going to be on Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, and Lando Norris. Lando Norris leading the championship just by 1 point. But when we look at the head-to-head race data between Norris and Piastri, I mean, Norris is faster. Canada, he was faster. This is the race pace. Austria, he was faster. Now, Canada, he was faster by, what is it, 0.005%. 0.082% in Austria, 0.077% in the UK at Silverstone. It's not good, is it? Hungary, I think, was 0.38%. Was that Hungary? Holland was 0.99%. And this is just the race pace for him being faster, even though Oscar Piastri was at peak Oscar Piastri at times as well. Yes, Norris did win Austria and Silverstone. But it was really, really close between them. But compared to like the first half of the year, as this shows kind of like the second half, middle part of the year, Lando Norris really, well, he's not doing too bad. When you look at the USA, 0.913% faster, and Mexico, 0.737% faster. So, of the last 9 races, Lando 9-0, an average of 0.227% faster. I appreciate that's not going to be reading that Oscar Piastri really wants. But here we go. Here's the scary thing for both McLaren drivers. Max Verstappen's deficit in the Drivers' Championship. When we look at it, and here's the poster here. I mean, this is absolutely frightening. So in Australia, there was a 7-point deficit. In China, it went up to 8. In Japan, it went down to 1. And then it just exponentially sort of increased until it got to 104. So in Bahrain, it was 8. In Saudi Arabia, it increased to 12. Then it increased to 32 in Miami. Went down a bit in Imola to 22 because he got that really good win. Monaco up to 25. Spain, 49. Canada went down to 43. Australia, 61. Silverstone in the UK, 69. And then Belgium, 81. Hungary, 97. And then the big kicker for Max Verstappen at his home Grand Prix, 104 points deficit at his home Grand Prix. At that point, it was absolutely disaster. Max Verstappen was all about GT racing. Had he thrown his toys out the pram? Had he given up? Some people thought, but no. Italy went down to 94. Interesting that Azerbaijan, Baku, went down to 69. That was massive. Singapore, 63. USA went down to 40. And Mexico is down to 36. Is it doable? Absolutely. So where Lando Norris maybe and Max Verstappen are two of the on-form people. Max winning, quite several races in a row up until Mexico. Now here was, and I'm not saying bad news for Piastri, but Jacques Villeneuve, be it what you will, sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. I appreciate that's probably the same for many people. But he said Piastri's not stepping up. He was already at his limit, which is absolutely lambasting the poor guy. This was on the Sky Sports podcast. And Jacques Villeneuve comes out and says, was it actually Piastri stepping up? Or Lando just wasn't on it? He says he kept saying he wasn't comfortable with the car. Maybe that made Piastri complacent. Lando stepped up. He is driving faster than he's been all season. So that's Jacques Villeneuve on Oscar Piastri. Is it fair? Lando is driving better. I don't think. The thing about Piastri, I've had a thought about this, and I know I did a video, and maybe even contradicting myself a tiny bit. I think it takes Oscar more, and we've seen the evidence of this. It takes him longer to build up to a weekend to get up to that peak speed. But once he does, as we've seen in qualifying, he has beaten Lando sometimes quite handsomely. And it's Lando that makes the mistakes. Now, other than Baku and Azerbaijan, Oscar hasn't really made many big mistakes. He's just maybe lost the way with the setup, with the car. Maybe the updates have helped Lando Norris a tiny bit more, but both of them are really, really close. Most of the time. It's just been these most recent races. So can Oscar do it? Absolutely, he can. If he finds the form he has, he's more than capable of beating Norris and Verstappen. But the other two are equally capable of beating him and each other as well, which is going to be really interesting. So if we go all the way back to last year, and this is why many people are arguing that Max Verstappen is potentially one of the favourites to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. He went from P17 to P1, which is absolutely insane. 17 different times he broke the fastest, not the lap record, but 17 different times he broke the fastest lap on lap 6, 10, 12, 45, 47, 48, 49, 50, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 62, 64, 65, 67. I think that's a record, isn't it? He was really, really good. The Red Bull, though, when you saw on the sprint race, you knew that the Red Bull was set up absolutely sweetly. And there you go. Max Verstappen, the best driver on the day, completely took advantage of that. And in what was a legendary drive, even Eddie, the late, great Eddie Jordon, has come out and said, I've had Senna and Schumacher in my car, but what I saw from Max Verstappen in Sao Paulo was something completely off the charts. And that was what he spoke about on the 2024 Brazilian Grand Prix victory. It absolutely was. Having said that, it is a different car now. McLaren on a different car. It's going to be interesting. Yet still, no matter how good you are in the wet, you still need the car. You still need confidence. That's what the wet is all about. So it's going to be interesting. With a different car, can Max Verstappen do it in the wet sessions? I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what he can do. Don't forget, Norris and Piastri are still quite good in the wet. Remember Silverstone? It was partly, I just talked about how important the car still is. Verstappen didn't really have the best setup in the wet at Silverstone then. It was Lando, Norris and Piastri that pretty much dominated. So it is going to be interesting. And here, when you look at here, I can't really zoom in anymore. But the different 24 winners to the 25 winners. I mean, we had, like, obviously both Ferrari drivers doing it, both Mercedes drivers. Here we essentially have Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen and George Russell. Is this going to be the first Ferrari World Championship, the first the year since 2021 that Ferrari do not win a race? That would be terribly sad, wouldn't it? That would be terrible.